Good morning, good morning. There you are. That wasn't a millennial pause at the start. It's me waiting for the very slow internet to catch up with myself. After all, I'm Generation X and we are definitely not millennials. Okay, what have we got for you this week? Well, first off, we actually sent out a thing on the 15th. Yep. To say that on the 14th of October, the Council, the European Council, I can't remember. There are so many bits of Europe. Anyway, basically, the CLP legislative act has been adopted. So I'm just going to put the link to the official announcement below this video now for you, in case you missed it. And where we are now is it's now going to be signed off by a couple of people, and then it can be published. And then once it's published in the official journal, it comes into force 20 days later, and that's the point the clock starts ticking. So we can't say anything about the whole business. Oh, excuse me, full of cold. Sorry, we don't know exactly when the deadlines are going to kick in until that publication date. So we're still slightly in limbo. The good thing is apparently from that announcement we should be able to get the actual final text. But I have not had time this week to go through that in detail. But that's the really big news this week. So, excuse me. Sorry. You'll need to be careful that your device doesn't catch a virus from me. Yeah, I know it's an old joke, but the old jokes are the best. Anyway, so that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is, in this week's Chemicals Coffee Time, I have a little bit of a rant. And if you're not already signed up for it, then I am just going to put the link below this video now. Obviously, these videos just are a snippet of the few things that happen in the newsletter each week. And what my rant is about is something that I think is really important. Now, we are all aware of COMAH, the Control of Major Accident Hazards, which is the UK's way of bringing in the Seveso directives. And when you look at major accidents, since that was brought in, I think it has really, really worked. We have managed to prevent a lot of major accidents that might otherwise have happened by saying, you guys are really dangerous, therefore you have to go through this complicated process of working out where you might have a major accident and stopping it. And sorry, everybody. And in order to do that, they do it on the basis of the amount of hazardous things that you can hold on your site at any one time. You know, fair enough. If you have a certain amount of things and it'll kill this number of people or cause this massive explosion, then why the hell not? That's a good way of doing it. The problem that we have is since the regulations were brought in, the thresholds for environmental have been dropped massively. So, for example, in terms of the I'm so sorry. In terms of environment, they've been dropped. Everything else has stayed the same, pretty much. They've brought some extra hazards in, but all those thresholds have stayed the same. But environment have been dropped absolutely massively. So, what was the lower tier threshold for environment? 200 tons lower tier. For E2, which is H411. E2, which is now 200 tons for lower tier, 500 tons for top tier. That has dropped down, and it was 2,000 tons for top tier, and I believe it was 500 tons for lower tier. So all of a sudden, in 2005 in the UK, those thresholds just went whoop, and that's all well and good, you know, where it's people showing, yeah, we're in favor of environmental harm and everything. But that doesn't take into account the fact that there are an awful lot of sites in the UK, and no doubt in the EU, where they only really have an inventory of environmentally hazardous substances, and they don't have the things that might poison people, like toxic gases, and they don't have an inventory, particularly of the physical hazards of flammables, of reactive hazards, of explosives. So if you don't have that inventory that might cause a fire in the first place, for example, the only hazards from that site are likely to be loss of containment. And you're only really looking at the really big things like NATEC, which are really, really unlikely, like a massive, massive earthquake that's going to release all of that inventory all at once. So I kind of feel that we have gone too far. These environmental thresholds are too low for sites that are only environmentally hazardous. They've only got an environmental inventory. And because it wastes so much time. It wastes the site's time because either they have to go into COMAH when it's not really designed for them. It gives the Environment Agency in particular a lot of extra work at a time when they do not need it. Excuse me. And it's kind of, we're putting our attention in the wrong place, people. So, you know, if we could go back to the environmental thresholds that we were on previously in the 1999 COMAH regulations, I think that would be really helpful for everybody. Because the reason why we've got so many environmental COMAH sites now isn't because things have got worse. It's because of the reclassification changes, mainly caused by biocides, which means that new M factors mean that something that's in as a preservative in a paint, for example, suddenly means, oh my God, that's now H410. Let's put dead fish, dead tree on that paint. And aren't we over egging the pudding a little bit there, maybe, in major accident terms? Anyway, I leave that up for you. You know, I merely propose that as an option. And of course, the other thing making things worse is the supply chain crisis, because everybody needs to hold more stock because nobody knows when things are going to be moved about. But sorry, I really am full of cold today. I do apologize. Anyway, leaving that rant on one side, and like I say, it's in the newsletter today. What have we got for reasons to be cheerful? Well, I've just been nerding out, or is it geeking, on the COMAH liability thresholds, haven't I? So there's a lad called Don McMillan who's done, I mean, you will love this if you are a nerd like what I am. He's done this amazing flow chart on the different definitions of geek and nerd and dork, etc. And I'm just popping that below this video, which I hope you enjoy. Well, oh, thanks for watching, Robin. Yeah, it's only a cold. It's nothing as bad as you had, my dear. So that's just about it for me for today. But there was one thing I wanted to mention, which is the appallingly early death of Liam Payne. Absolutely tragic. And I came across somebody who said something amazingly insightful about it, which is which really surprised me. I'm just going to look it up because I want to make sure I'm doing it correctly. There we are. And this person said, life is precious, kids, and you only get to do it once. And I think that that is a fabulous thought for all of us. And well done, Liam Gallagher, for saying that. Right, that's it from me for today. Excuse me. Hope you're feeling a bit better than me. Many thanks for watching live or on catch up. And I hope to be spared to chat to you again next week. Take very good care of yourselves. Bye.